Hello, world. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending where you are at this very moment. I am back here with another recording very late this time, or maybe just right on time. I'm trying to do those videos before we have the actual event, but this time the events and energies didn't allow me to sit down and ground myself and have this conversation in the best possible and useful way. So here we are. Today is the 3rd of March, 0303. Very, very powerful number energetically. And we are here to talk about current energies, astrological events, pull some tarot messages, and see how we can take the best out of those events. Today is a Virgo full moon in Virgo, and lunar eclipse. 2 weeks ago we had the Aquarius solar eclipse. So we are sort of wrapping up and closing this season of eclipses, which can be intense. So today is that moment when we have certain peak, there is a culmination, there is a realization, there is a moment, not only today, like whenever we are talking about full moons or new moons, and I spoke about this before. If you're new to my channel, I do have to repeat those important things, right? So welcome. You're here in a Marilyn world. I should have probably said it in the very beginning, but I got carried away and excited. Full moons are bringing in clarity. Full moons are bringing certain things to the culmination. With the eclipse energy, we have that same event like stronger 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 times. This depends on your personal placements, it depends on your personal journey, situation, and so on. And what we always say is that those events are bringing changes, transformation, a rebirth. And this change, transformation, and rebirth can be physical, mental, spiritual. The sun is currently Pisces. The moon is, as I said, in the energy of Virgo. These are two opposites. These are two axes, what we call in astrology. They are very, very different, but they are completing each other in the same time as well, because Pisces is very, very deep in that spiritual, unseen realm, hidden, subconscious, emotional. And Virgo is very, very present in the physical. It's an earth element, and it talks about practicality, groundness, being of service, being present, being connected to the community and oneself in a best possible way. So there is quite a lot happening in a moment, and I'm not going to go into the details with all these like things that we are currently facing. What I have done before I started this conversation with you today, and this is something I used to do more often because I had more time, but now I'm very, very busy with work, which is amazing, and I don't see it as work, as I said earlier. I just came back from a Brighton tattoo convention event that I do every year. Those tattoo conventions were my breakthrough when it comes to doing tarot in a more, I would say, serious way, or taking myself more serious when it comes to this work. And I don't like to call it a way. It's my purpose. That's why I'm here, and this is why I chose to be back to this lifetime. If I had this conversation with myself or like anybody else like 10 years ago, I would probably think that I'm crazy, or others would think that I'm crazy. But now, like, everything makes so much sense. Like, my personal journey makes so much sense to me, and I can't wait to see where that's going to take me in 5, 10, 15 years. And it's like we all go through those changes. So going back to the weekend, I had like over 30 conversations, tarot readings, astrology readings with people that are like from all different walks of life. And this community is very deep, and it's very creative, and it's very inspiring in a way as well. So it was almost like coming back home, but on Sunday morning I did feel burnout, so I had to take time for myself and like recharge, and then I can be present and focused and have this conversation in a proper way. So we have 5 planets currently in Pisces, so there is like loads of like deep feelings and emotions. You might see your dreams being quite intense or unable to sleep and all that stuff. So this is why that grounding is very important, and probably the best way to ground yourself would be journaling. And this is something I started talking about. So today I took one of my old journals, and I'll be journaling like all my life, like sometimes very serious and deep, sometimes just briefly, depends on the situation and so on. So today I just turned this old journal. I actually have that book here in front of me, and I'm okay to share it with you. It says here 2013, but I have it for quite a long time. So the page that I randomly turned, Mercury is retrograde, so please bear with me and excuse me if I mix up the words. So the page I randomly turned was the beginning of March 2020. And why I love doing this is just to do a little like retrospection and see where I was that time and what was it that I was dealing with and what we were dealing with globally, because I usually write about what's happening to me internally and externally, influences and so on. So what was happening that time, it was actually just the beginning of the lockdown, right? So the office where I worked was closing down, and we were sort of forced to, go inside and all that stuff. And this was actually beginning of March. It was the 10th to 13th of March when this happened. And then I had like really, really big things happening in my personal life as well. Which now when I look back, it just like everything makes so much sense. So then we went into that like isolation period and so on. And now when I look back at that, it's definitely the moment of adjusting, finding the way to cope with the new circumstances. It was a period of a rebirth in a way, as I said, in all those 4 different ways. And then getting out of it, it was like, okay, how can I show up in this different world? Or obviously it wasn't the same anymore. So, and I guess we were not the same any longer. So it's like, how can I show in the best possible way and to be true to myself and be authentic and live this life in more purpose and so on. So, and this is when tarot and astrology took over. And this is when I took myself serious and when I turned my very passionate hobby into the purpose. So the reason why I'm talking about this is just to understand how big those energies are and everything that is happening from the outside that we cannot influence and we are sort of like forced to deal with, work with. It's actually it always has like the other side of the coin. It always has the other side of the story. It always has that like moment, what can I like learn from this and what is the best thing I can take out of this? So this morning I pulled one of the cards from my numerology tarot deck, and the card that came up is the card Rebirth, number 16. I kept it here on purpose because I do want that energy to be here on the table. And the fact that we have quite a lot of blue color, this is actually something I just realized now, is that we are dealing with the heart chakra, we are dealing with the throat chakra. As I said, Mercury is retrograde in a sign of Pisces, and Mercury is planet of communication, and we are asked to slow down and go within, and Pisces likes to go deep into the detail and feeling and emotion. It feels a lot, right? So it's really interesting what we are dealing with right now, and I can see it with myself as well, how easily I can get overwhelmed and carried away, and how long it takes me actually to go back to myself and my energy. So that's sort of like a rebirth that we are all going through, and it's like how you're going to adjust to all those like energies that are happening. So I'm going to leave this card here. It is that moment of change, transformation internally, first of all, and then like how you show up in the actual world, like external your world, your community, your workplace, your friends and family. How do you show up for yourself as well? Something that I have been listening to quite often lately, and I really like that, and I want to share that, is that we are now in time that we can actually choose if I want to create my world from like within out, rather than the other way around, where I think that like decades ago it was very different. Decades ago it was just like, what others are going to think, and how do I have to show up, and what are the expectations of others. But now we actually have a choice, and I think that we are like protected, energetically protected, to create the life for ourselves that we do want to create. It's been really, really interesting time, and I can't wait to see what is going to unfold with the rest of this year and the years coming. So let's start with a couple of tarot cards, because this period now is going to prepare us for the mid-March, 20th of March, which is the spring equinox. It's also Noruz, beautiful, beautiful celebration of spring. And Aries season as well. Aries season is the start of a new chapter of a new year, of a new season in that astrological sense. Aries is always about who am I now, and what do I do, and how I show up. So now with these Piscean energies that are very strong. So we have like 5, I think, planets in Pisces, and then 4 like in Aries. And then as we go towards April, most of the placements are going to be in Aries. So it's going to be a lot of fire. It's going to be a lot of that young, fiery, creative energy that, you want to use in the best possible way for yourself. So it's authentic, so it's healthy, so it's true to you, so it's not burnout, all these things. So let's see what is going to be the first message for this conversation and energies that we are living right now, and how to prepare best for what is coming. The first card we had is the Sun card, and obviously I by accident pulled 2 at the same time. The other card is the Nine of Swords. So the Sun energy, the Sun card, is one of the most positive cards you can see in tarot. It's not like others are negative, but like every card and every message has different vibe about it, brings in different energy. With the Sun energy, we're talking about the creation, the expression, your inner light, how you connect to your inner sun, and how you shine it outside, right? We are chasing the sun, we are magnetically connected to the sun. Everything starts from there, but it's also, if that energy goes to extreme, it is the energy of a burnout, right? If you don't have those healthy boundaries. And this could be like literally with anything you do in your life. It could be like how much you spend on your social media. It could be how much you show up at work, how much, whatever you feel like, whatever you overdo. That was lucky just passing by my cat. So beautiful, beautiful energy. We are going towards the sun. The days are getting longer. We are getting more of the sunlight here, and it really shifts and changes the energy. So we are preparing for that growth. We are preparing to those seeds that we are planting now start growing and blossoming as we go deeper into the spring and month of April and May and so on. The card that wanted to come up with it is the Nine of Swords. Swords in tarot represent the mind, the intellect, conversation you have with yourself, all the stories that we create in our head. Nine of Swords is talking about thinking, analyzing, overthinking, overanalyzing. And the more we spend in that energy, and we all do this, it's only about like how long do I allow myself to stay in this mindset. It can really lead to anxiety and worries and so on. What is very important with that card to understand is like, this is what I create for myself. It's not something that somebody else tells me. It doesn't come from the outside. Obviously, there are always those like news and things and situations that are like put on us. And it's very easy to get lost, you know, to lose that little center, to lose that little sun that we all have within us. You know, that beautiful, bright, passionate, creative energy. We all have that. And remove the clouds. You know, like clouds are represented by the swords. I do have another deck where instead of swords, the element is the cloud and so on. So it's like, what do I feed my brain with? How do I show up as well? The energy of number 9, it's an interesting one, and I spoke about it a lot over the weekend. Number 9 has the shape of a big body and the tiny body and the big head. And this big head, the symbolism of it is, it can lead to philosophy, it can lead to inspiration, writing, or it can go to the other extreme, which is like over-worrying, over-analyzing, overthinking, and all that stuff. So it's like, you know, your mind is your best friend and worst enemy at the same time. So that's just a reminder. I'm already like in the 16 minutes of this conversation, so I do want to hurry up a bit because I don't want to make this video too long. Oh my god, it's like the cards are popping up like 2 by 2. This is very interesting. Underlined energy is the devil, which can be the card of destruction, addiction. I do like to say that the devil energy is not negative if it's used in the right way. It gives you passion, drive, and enthusiasm to go for what you want to go for. There is a little lamp here on the top, if you can see that. Not lamp, the candle, sorry. And that candle is actually that light that starts growing into the sun. You know, it's just like how I use it. I'm just going to leave it here for a moment. So let's talk about the last 2 cards. We have the King of Pentacles, which is healthy masculine energy. And we see quite a lot of masculine energy at the moment, used in a wrong way, negative way. But this energy is bringing in stability. It brings in grounding. The grapes are representing the abundance. And I do want to keep this conversation and reading positive, because we are rising the frequency and we are shifting the energy. And, you know, if all of us are putting in a bit of work, energy can shift and change. It can be like on a collective level and wider. And then we have beautiful Ace of Rods or Ace of Wands. This is another fiery energy. It is when the idea turns into the action, and you can see this idea growing. It is the beginning, it is the start. You can see those little leaves growing, but it has a lot of potential to grow into something big. So overall, messages here are, what am I feeding my mind with? How do I connect to that sun energy, and how do I find inspiration there? What is my grounding space? You know, what is like, how do I ground myself? How do I use what I have learned along the way and experienced along the way? And how do I appreciate the abundance that is there? Because it is there. It is there. It's like we are all born here and have similar abilities, I would say, similar abilities. And then from that, you know, it's like, how can I use my energy in the healthiest way, and be careful of the action you take and all that stuff? Because when we are on the right path and we make that first step, the universe is supporting you and it's helping you to grow. And I'm telling you, like, this is not the fantasy, this is not magic, this is like, I lived it and I can see it. Like, everything I'm talking about, I'm talking from my own personal experience, because I've done tarot myself, first of all, and I never thought I'll be out there having these conversations. But, you know, they make a lot of sense, so that's why I do what I do. So, one last card, Osho Tarot deck. Let's make it 20 minutes. It is big day, energies are big. I do have a moment now where I can dedicate my time to this conversation, and I really hope that it's going to reach, you know, audience out there, possibilities. You notice how that sun energy really likes to show up, and then we have that falcon or eagle up there. So it's like, it doesn't matter how dark is the night, it doesn't matter like what we are dealing with, the sun is coming out, the energies are clearing. Rebirth is never easy. and we are going to that rebirth. I'm just going to remind of the card at the back. So take a moment to think about what are my possibilities and where do I feel like I want to fly like an eagle and invest myself. I'm going to leave you with these two. I'm wishing you a wonderful month of March, Pisces season, and getting ready for new astrological year, and you know, that Aries energy and so on. And look after yourself, slow down for a moment, pay attention to the thoughts and conversation that is happening in your head, and stay safe. Love to all, and bye for now.